It is a Wednesday evening, and welcome to Midweek Encounter. This is Pastor Matt, Memphis Metro Church, Fellowship, Leadership, and Worship. Um, Excited about an opportunity to connect with you tonight, give you some insights about um, we've been talking about child support, right? Child support and the nature of how child support looks in the context of the kingdom. So I want to say hey to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on Instagram. My battery's low. So, but hey fam, good to see everybody. Deacon Karen, hey, that's my girl right there, boy. Um, Good evening. Good evening. Uh, we're talking about child support, and so I wanted to start off. We left off on Sunday talking through some bullet points, kind of a chart of sorts, and it came from Romans chapter 8. And so I want to revisit that very quickly and then give you some points because I want us to understand that some of us are missing out on the benefits of child support. And I'm not just talking about finances. And so when we think child support in the worldly system, in most instances, that's how it's defined. We let we let the money be the thing that determines whether or not child support is really happening. And of course, in the kingdom, it's built in. It's built into the covenant that He provides care. Provision is part of the package. Care is part of the covenant. And so, in the earthly system, we're usually having to petition a court in order for a parent to perform. Now, God will perform, but there are some obligations that fall upon us to line up with receiving the support that He gives. So there are things included in the paternity, establishing paternity, that we have to see Him as He is in order to be like Him. We have to see Him as He is in order to be like Him, according to 1 John 3. Right? Now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. Like I haven't fully showed up yet, but I am on my way. I'm coming. Like I'm coming, and I'm coming with it. Like I'm coming with it. And so the anticipation of us coming, the anticipation of our full arrival is contingent upon, it hinges upon us getting a full revelation of who He is. It does not yet appear what we shall be, but when He shall appear, right? So it hinges on that. It hinges on His appearance. And so part of the dynamic of child support is, does the child look like you? Does the child look like you? Do they carry your traits? Do they carry your genes? Do they carry your mannerisms? Do they carry like what in the parent shows up in the child? What characteristics in the parent show up in the child? Somebody put that in the chat for me. What characteristics that are in the parent show up in the child? That's one of the ways we establish paternity. And so God's DNA needs to show up in your life. His presence needs to show up in your life. So His DNA becomes indicative of His presence showing up, right? When we look like Him, talk like Him, sound like Him, move like Him, you know what happens, right? He's present. He's present in the midst of all that. It is God in us, right? Not just God with us, it is God in us. And so Jesus gives the indication and the insight, the indication and the insight that God is interested and invested into the outcome of our lives. He is both interested and invested. Interested and invested. Somebody put that in the chat for me, please. He is both interested and invested in the outcome of your life. It matters to him. When you are his child, it matters to him. It matters to him. It takes on great import to him. So he's interested and invested because it's important to him. And I don't want any of us to miss on this piece of moving forward through 2025 and thinking that God has divested because things haven't gone according to plan. God is still interested. He's still motivated. He's still, he wants to perfect the things that concern you. He wants to perfect the things that concern you. And so this is a relationship with a parent. I need us to get this. So Jesus brought the context of the relationship into realistic terms, and Jesus was clear that God is not just God, not just the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent being, but God is looking to be our Father. God is intending on being our Father. He's not just the omniscient, omnipresent. He's not just those things. The most intelligent being, he's not that. All seeing, all knowing. He intends on being your Father. And so I gave you these 4 things. I think it was last Wednesday. I'm going to add a 5th thing. Here's what good fathers do. Good fathers. If you remember them, you can help me put them in the chat. But we're going to put them here on a banner as well. Number 1, God pursues us. As a father, he pursues us. Here's what good fathers do. A good father is going to pursue his kids. A good father will pursue his children. If the child goes astray, Pops is coming after him. Right? We hear about the prodigal son. What did the father do? Every day he went out to the road, waiting for his son to come home. God pursues us. So number 2 is that the Father, he purchased us. He purchased us. You are bought with a price. And it's the most expensive purchase to ever happen in the history of humanity. That's how valuable you are. It is the most expensive purchase. And so often, so many of us think like consumers. Like we want to buy stuff. We want to buy stuff. We want to buy what's trending. We want to buy what's popular. We want to buy what's luxurious. But here's God. This is how God spins. God so loved the world that he gave. So giving always costs you something. Giving always costs. And so you can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. You can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. And so, since the Father purchased us, we have to see ourselves as being bought with a price, right? A price that we cannot pay back, an amount that we cannot earn, bought with a price. Thirdly, he props us up. Father props us up. He uses grace to prop us up. Surely, goodness and mercy shall do what? Follow me all the days of my life. You know why goodness and mercy follows us? Because we need to be propped up. It's not because we've earned goodness and mercy, but the Father props us up with goodness and mercy. Right? Number 4, the Father provides for us. And so when I say provides, it's not just gives us what we need, it really spills over into the thought of seeing ahead and providing, right? Seeing ahead. So the Father provides us. So I'm going to give you one more. Number 5 is the Father plans for us. Every good parent knows you make plans for your kids. You do. You start planning for them before they get here. And you pick out clothes, you pick out colors of the room, and you pick out schools, you pick out neighborhoods. Come on. You prepare stuff for them. And so Jesus was trying to show this through the conversation that he was having with the disciples when he says, okay, don't let your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Like, so you don't have to worry about the future. He went on to say that I'm going to what? Prepare a place for you. So the Father plans for us. The Father plans. He makes plans for you. What did he tell Jeremiah? 29:11. Y'all know it. He not only knew Jeremiah, but he says, I know the plans that I have for you. Come on here. I'm trying to help us be better parents. So you don't just know your child, you need to know the plans that you have for them. Get acquainted with the methodology of preparation for their purpose. Get acquainted with the methodology and the preparation of their purpose, for their purpose. Don't just know the child. See, too many of us know our kids, but we don't know the plans that we have for them. Know the plans. Get intimate with the details. Get intimate with the trajectory. Get intimate with their gift mix. That's what the Father is saying, that I know the plans. I know the plans. I got the blueprints. I've got the schematics. I've got the design. I've got the layout. I've got the preparation in place in order to know the plans. And so I'm about to help us convert some of our thinking around child support, because the plans that the Father has says, I am looking not just ahead of them, I am looking deep within them. I'm not just looking ahead of them, I'm looking within them. And so some of us think that we're going through stuff and we're like, God, this doesn't feel like you're preparing for me. He he is preparing you in order to walk in purpose. And I say it pretty frequently. Sometimes preparation feels like punishment. Sometimes preparation feels like punishment. Don't get lost. Don't get caught up in your feelings, though. Don't get caught up in your feelings. This is the thing right here, y'all. This is where most of us get messed up. You get caught up in your feelings. You get caught up in your feelings. He says, not only do I know you, I know the plans I have for you. And sometimes the plans are painful. You don't think so? Ask Jonah. Ask Moses. Ask David. Ask Joseph. Ask David. Ask Jeremiah. Ask Elijah. The plans can sometimes be painful, but the pain. Here's what Minister Renee Lee would say: the pain is putting you in position. Sometimes the pain is putting you in position. Sometimes the plans are painful. And so I want us to capture some of the ideology, some of the theology and doctrine behind how the Father intends to do the planning. Like I know the thoughts and plans I have for you. I know, I know. Like like I've I've, I've pre-planned. I've pre-planned. Whew. Like I'm not making this up on the fly. That's what God is telling some of y'all. I'm not making this up as we go along. I've pre-planned. And so um, Romans chapter 8. Yeah. And so I gave you these few things. So here's the challenge. We're up against things already, right? And I have emphasized this. We need to stop learning so much from generational curses. So here's some of the things that are generational curses. Romans 8, verse 12 says, therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh. So too often we walk in the flesh and then we live according to the flesh. We walk in the flesh and we live according to the flesh. In other words, the flesh gets to rule, determine, and direct. The flesh gets to rule, determine, and direct where we're going. So if you follow your flesh, it is faulty. It's one of the things we mentioned on Sunday. So verse 13 says, for if you live according to the flesh, you will die. Let you know that you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. So this is comparison and contrast, right? Contrast. We see the two things, and he's saying, pick one, pick the right one. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, guess what they're called? Remember, I told you now, when you get to be a child, you get called something. You get called. You get called something, right? You get called. And so it says here, they are the sons of God. And so my daughter has a nickname, right? Her name is Calissa Renee Lee. She's named after our sisters, right? Karen, Lisa, and Renee. Lisa is Leslie's sister who passed at birth, right? And so Calissa has a name. That's her name, Calissa Renee. That's her birth name. But as a nickname, so people have to address her as her name. Like, that's Calissa Renee Lee. But her daddy gave her a nickname. Her nickname is Callie. I call her something because she's my daughter. She's not some distant creation that I made. It is evidenced by a relationship that she gets called something other than her government name. It's my baby girl. And so people in our circle who grew up, watched her grow up, they poured into her life, the village, they call her Callie. Does the Father know you well enough to give you another kind of name? Come on here. Does he know you well enough to give you another name? Where's Simon Peter? Where is he? Where is Jacob Israel? Where is he? Come on here. Where is Saul that turns into Paul? Where is he? Does he know you well enough to give you another name? My name is Matthew. But you know my family, they'll call me Matt. And so as the church family, they don't call me Pastor Matthew. That's not what they call me. I could be addressed that way. But if you know me, come on here. Come on here. You call me P. Matt. That's what you call me. If you know me. And so God has put in position the evidence of relationship to be able to call us something. Now are we the sons of God. And so if we fight against the curse of the flesh, the curse of sin and death, the things that I talked about on Sunday, the curse of condemnation. Too many of us learn from generational curses, and we need to learn from generational blessings. All right, so I'm sorry, put that scripture back up for me. And so verse 14 says, for as many that are led by the Spirit of God, these are called the sons and daughters of God. For you did not receive the spirit of bondage in order to fear, but you received the spirit of, everybody type in adoption. Adoption, adoption, adoption. Type it in, adoption. All right. And so I'm going to give you some things here really quickly that evidence the spirit of adoption. Here are characteristics that demonstrate the spirit of, look, we got Lola typing in the chat tonight. It's serious around here. Hey, Lola. I'm gonna give you some bullets here, and I'll be done in just a minute. Spirit of adoption. So here's the spirit of slavery. Wages for work. That's a curse, man. That's a curse. That is a curse. Wages for work. But you know, too many of us live like that. Too many of us live like that. Wages for work. I dare say some of us spend our professional lives wages for work. And that's not how the kingdom is supposed to work. Come on here. I'll unpack that when we're going to teach on finances and stuff a little bit later this year. Wages for work. Wages for work. And I'm not saying you're not supposed to get paid when you do work. But sometimes you got to learn how to make work for you and not just work for wages. Uh, we'll get to that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. All right. And so here's also a spirit of slavery. All this is like the debt to sin, death, the grave, hell, condemnation, all that stuff, right? Punishment for our performance. So when we can't keep the law, we get punished. So Jesus says, I didn't come to destroy the law. I want you to clearly see what it is. I came to fulfill it. And so Jesus becomes our fulfillment of the law. In other words, he's done the work for us. We just have to accept his work. Jesus said, I didn't come to destroy the law. I'm not making a mockery of the law. I'm here to fulfill the law. And if you receive what I have done, you have fulfilled the law. But you're not bound by the law. You have grace. All right. Okay, Romans chapter 8 starts off talking about there is now therefore no condemnation in Christ. And too many of us are controlled by our condemnation. We're controlled by what we did. We're controlled by the fact that we are condemned, that we're not worthy. And the truth of the matter is, I told you this on Sunday, that God takes what's unworthy and makes it worthy. We are translated from the kingdom of darkness into his marvelous light. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? He makes us worthy. He gives us beauty for ashes. Come on. The oil of joy for mourning. Come on. It's the transaction and the transition that leads to the transformation. He takes all that condemned stuff and turns it into something. I had opportunity a few weeks ago to show a house to a client, and the in remarks from the listing agent, it said, beware. Like this place is so run down. I work with all kind of properties. It's so run down. You could be going into a condemned building. Mm-hmm. Yep. But can I tell you something? That God walked into the condemned building that is your life, and he's rehabbing it. He's fixing and flipping it. I can't get a witness. Woo! Yeah, he's fixing and flipping your life. Yes, he is. He's changing the value of it. And so, controlled by condemnation. And then last thing, thank y'all for putting these comments in the chat. If we keep following faulty and failing flesh, we remain in the spirit of bondage. Yeah, that condemnation thing, I'm trying to help you understand. Yeah, some of y'all like to watch HGTV and how they rehab those properties. Can I tell you, God is rehabbing your real estate. Woo! That's it, Brianna. Changing your value. Come on here. When he put Christ on you, when he imputed the righteousness of Christ to you, he changed the value. Some of y'all just need to get another appraisal. Come on here. Some of y'all just need another appraisal of your life. Woo! I'm preaching real estate, and I got this pen on right now. I am your local realtor. But he converts it. It's the conversion process. Yes, he is, Michelle. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Rehabbing my real estate. All right. So let me give you these things that indicate and identify with the spirit of adoption. Somebody put in spirit of adoption. Yeah, I saw that emoji, Cherie. That's good stuff right there, man. The tools. Come on. Let me put that back up. She put these tools up. Yeah. Will you work with the tools that God is using to rehab your life? Will you work with the tools that God is using to rehab your life? One of the tools I already mentioned, he gives us grace. Grace is a tool to rehab the value and the property in your life. Okay, spirit of adoption. All right, adoption leads to access. Adoption leads to access. Adoption leads to access. If any man lacks wisdom, woo, if any man lacks wisdom, let him come boldly. Come on here. Let him ask liberally. God gives wisdom liberally. That's what he does for his children. Adoption leads to access. If I had time, I'd take you to Romans 5. It says, wherefore now we stand in this grace. That's access. That's access to the Father. Everybody ain't got access. Everybody ain't got access. No, if you don't have his image, his likeness, you're not operating his image and his likeness, you're not operating in the word, you don't have access. Adoption leads to access. That's why we can cry out. See, adoption gives us access to say, Abba. Second one. Adoption gives us an appointment. Adoption gives us an appointment. Okay, and so I'm not talking time on a calendar. I'm talking designation of a space. I'm talking designation of a space, of an office, right? Like nepotism, it goes back to that. Adoption gives us an appointment. Like, I appoint you as the recipient of my estate. You're the executor, the trustee of my estate. In other words, you get to use my name in order to get my stuff, to get my riches, to get my wealth. Adoption gives us an appointment. And so it's not so much time on the calendar, because we always have access to them, right? That's the access. But the appointment is an appointment of a position, an authoritative position, a position of authority. I was talking the other week about capacity. Some of us just, we got to make the shift from employee to partner, from partner to ruler, from employee to partner, from partner to ruler. Are y'all with me on this? So the appointment gives us a position of authority. Adoption gives us an appointment. An appointment gives us a position of authority. Yes. Thank y'all so much for putting this stuff in the chat. And so, last thing is adoption gives us, I already said it, but it's worth repeating. Adoption gives us Abba. Yep. Adoption gives us Abba. That is the Aramaic word for dad, for daddy. Abba. And so my wife and I were talking today. Our daughter is she's working through senior thesis and all this kind of stuff, and she hit an important milestone uh, today. That she's starting to produce movies. She had a financial goal, and they were doing kind of a GoFundMe thing, and we were putting money into it, and we were asking people, and this is significant dollars to get it done. And the thing that she said is, she said, "Can you all use your network?" She said, "Daddy, can you ask?" Absolutely. What I got belongs to you. The reason I'm working like I'm working is because access. She got access. She got an appointment. She got authority. She ain't got all authority yet. Man, she got to do some other stuff. But authority's coming. I'm setting it up. Setting it up. Setting it up so it won't be a question of what belongs to her. It will not be a question of what belongs to her. Now, if I can do that, and I'm as faulty as they come, how much more is God planning to do that for you? I know the thoughts and the plans that I have, not with you. You might not know everything that I'm planning to do. Woo! You're not engaged in all of the strategic planning, daughter. You're not. You're not engaged in all of the strategic planning. But I know the thoughts and plans that I have toward you. Woo! I need somebody to get that down in their spirit. I feel that thing. And the reason it's so real to me is because I haven't explained everything that's coming to her. I haven't explained everything that's coming to her. She hadn't seen the landscape of everything that's coming to her. I got nieces and nephews that I'm planning for. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? I got future generations that I'm planning for. They hadn't seen everything. Come on here. Come on. You hadn't seen it yet. But I know some stuff that they don't know. There are conversations happening in the heavens I told you it does not yet appear. what we shall be. The reason it hasn't appeared, he hadn't revealed everything to you yet. He hasn't revealed everything to you yet. He hasn't revealed everything to you yet. It does not yet appear what we shall be. Woo! But I told you, I ain't all the way here, but I'm coming. Jack, I'm coming. Baby boy, I'm coming. Little sis, I'm coming. Nephew, Unc is coming. It does not yet. My daughter hadn't walked into everything yet. You know why? She hadn't seen it all yet. I ain't revealed it yet. Come on here. Some of the revelation happens based on maturity. And so, Memphis Metro, you watching this broadcast? You supporting this ministry? Let me help you understand something. You ain't seen it yet. Good God, you have not seen it yet. One of the first things that a parent teaches or helps a baby do is stabilize their head so they can look up. Come on. Come on. Come on. I'm trying to stabilize your head so you can look up and live. You hadn't seen it all yet. Man, that's my time. That's my time. That's my time. I gotta go. Woo! I'm talking about child support. That's first thing you do is when you grab that baby. That's child support. That's you gotta hold them. So that's child support. You know God will hold you in your most difficult of places. That's child support. He'll teach you how to lift your head. That's child support. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors. Why? I need you to see something. The King of glory. Oh, let me go. I'm talking about child support. Talking about child support. All right, man. This is what I need you to do. So First Friday is coming up. This coming Friday. 6:30 p.m. March 7th, 6:30 p.m. We'll be together and we'll be taking communion together. And so this is an opportunity for our network and fellowship of believers to come together. And we have fun, we celebrate birthdays, and we connect, we have conversation, we do all this great stuff. And it's rooted in the idea of fellowship, leadership, and worship. It's oriented around fellowship. It's part of one of the pillars of the church, right? To have all things in common, to create fellowship. And so we have this gathering on First Fridays. And so I always ask our members to invite somebody and bring them into the circle to be a part of our First Fridays. And so those of you that are members, you know what to do. Invite somebody. Bring somebody in your network and ask them to be a part of what we're doing. We ain't gonna holler at you and preach at you and grease you down with oil. We're not gonna do all that. We're gonna have fellowship together. We have a meal and we celebrate amongst each other. It's a great environment. Sometimes we debate. But it's a great environment. We want you to be there. The other piece of it is if you're watching and you don't know anybody at Memphis Metro, but you want to be part of that, then inbox us on the website, memphismetro.tv. Inbox us. Inbox us, okay? You want to be a part? Yeah, we might have to screen you a little bit, but no, we want you to be a part of the body. We want you to come be a part. Last thing, I want you to give tonight. I want you to give. And so I've been convicted in some spaces where I didn't give you the opportunity to give. And when I don't give you the opportunity to give, then I'm not giving you the opportunity to be blessed. Right? Because when you give, he gives it back. He gives it back. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. He gives it back. Give, and it shall be given unto you. How? You can give it in one ways, but he's going to give it back at least in four. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So I'm a living witness. I am a living witness. Yeah. As y'all say, that part. So give tonight. Cash App, $ Memphis Metro Church. Also, PayPal is there, which is Memphis Metropolitan. That's our formal name. We got a nickname, right? We're Memphis Metro Church. Like that's what people know us as. But we're Memphis Metropolitan Christian Church. That's what you'll see on PayPal. And so I anticipate that we're going to have a great time on Friday. And we're looking to do something. Mark your calendars. We're looking to do something on Good Friday in April. Like not just do something. We're going to be together for a service. That's my intention. Be together for a service in person for Good Friday. Old school would say we're gonna have church. We'll be together on Good Friday. All right, that's my time. Thank y'all so much. I already see people starting to give. Thank you. Thank you. Give tonight. It'll be a blessing to you. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, has been Midweek Encounter on a Wednesday night with yours truly, not just Pastor Matthew Lee. This is PMAT with Memphis Metro Church. Fellowship, leadership, worship. We are